This was probably the craziest week of my life and definitely the craziest vacation of my life. So, quick context. Every year since probably like the sixth grade, me and four of my closest friends have gone on a beach trip. And we all just go to the beach. My parents, buy a house and we all just go up to this beach, hang out for like a week or so. And we always go around the 4th of July. And it's usually just the four of my friends. But for this vacation, for the first time, like all 10 of our larger friend group kind of came with us. They bought another house and they came down too. And also important to the story, my sister, my older sister, okay, and her friend also came down to the beach trip this year. All right, so we get to the house. It's normal at first. Everything's going good. We're just having fun. Everything's fine. Everything's kosher. Everything's going good at first, right? So later that night, everybody's trying to go out, trying to do stuff on the beach, trying to get a little, you know what I'm saying? And quick context, I was just in the hospital before this. Some of y'all might have seen that video, okay? So I can't drink. So in my infinite wisdom, I decided to hit the carb, okay, for the first time in my life, all right? And normally I never really was, a fan of it. I wasn't opposed to it, but I just it never really interested me, right? But, in this situation, I was like, okay, I can't drink, so I'm really doing the responsible thing by smoking instead, right? And this will be important later, okay? So, we have our first night. We're all just partying, whatever, on the beach, in the garage of one of our beach houses. It's fun, It's just some good old classic fun. But the next day, I kind of wake up and immediately I'm not feeling good. And I'm like, is this because of like the car? Like, what is this? Like, what's going on? But I kind of brush it off, I'm like, let me just try to shake it off, whatever. But I'm just not feeling good. It's just like that sore kind of sickness. You know how you feel like that? You can't really walk, like you just feel lazy, lethargic, all of that, right? I felt like that for the whole day. And so I'm literally just sitting around while all my friends are like going out to the beach. They're like, yo, like come on, like play spike ball, whatever. I'm like sitting in a lawn chair just just looking at them, okay, just watching them. So something is wrong, okay? And so I go kind of back to my house. My mom is like, my mom realizing what's going on, she kind of comes over to me, feels my forehead. She's like, you got a fever. Like something is fucking wrong. And the last time I was at the hospital, they told us, hey, in the next like 3 weeks or so, if you get a fever, you got to go back to the hospital. So guess where we went? Back to the hospital in the middle of our vacation. So boom, I get driven over back to the hospital. Immediately, they stick me up with IVs again. I'm fucking back in that hospital chair. It was horrible. And this was just the fucking start. I wish I could say this was the worst thing that happened to me on this trip. And so immediately I'm in this hospital bed. They're hooking me up with IVs. And one of the first things they tell me is, yeah, we're going to run a bunch of tests on you, like this and that, see what's going on. Because they didn't know what was wrong with me, right? And then immediately my paranoid ass is like, oh, fuck, bro. They're going to find out that I hit the cart. They're going to tell my mom. It's going to be a whole thing. So I start weighing the options like, okay, do I, take the chance that the doctor's a snitch? Or do I just like take the chance that he's cool as fuck and he's not going to tell on me? Or, take the chance that they don't test for this and they're never going to find out. So, my parents aren't horrible people. So I kind of just decide, let me just come clean. Okay, I'm sure it'll all work out, but it probably better for my safety, okay, for my life to not be at risk and tell them this now if it's important. So I'm like, Mom, like, I got something to tell you. She's like, what is it? Tell her, get that over with. And then immediately she's like, oh my fucking God. Okay, she's not happy, but she's glad, okay? She's a good mother. She's glad that I told her, okay? Because, maybe this could help us treat me. So we tell the doctors. And they're just like, yeah, that didn't fucking matter. They're like, yeah, that literally means nothing to us. We weren't going to test for that at all. So I lost the fucking gamble. I took the over and it lost, okay? So I basically just exposed myself, okay, for no reason. But the doctors were low-key chill about it. They're like, yo, just make sure that stuff isn't laced. I was like, yo, thank you. So I didn't get punished for this at the time. I actually didn't get punished until after this trip. I kind of thought they forgot. They didn't forget. They were just kind of waiting till the trip was over, which was super chill of them. So I appreciate that. Regardless, so I get transferred because we were kind of in this like emergency care, I don't know, whatever you go to. And then they took me to like a real hospital. Okay, whatever the case, right? So I get transferred over there, spend the night, and I wake up and my dad is coming in because I was with my mom the whole night. My dad was back at the house with all my friends, right? Because you have to understand, like, all my friends are still at this house. It's our house. Well, my parents' house that we rented out, right? So he's, kind of just supervising them while I'm at the hospital with my mom. So the next morning, my dad comes in basically to tell us about the night and what happened. And I haven't checked my phone yet, so I have no idea. And my dad basically tells us that, first of all, one of our friends got belligerently drunk and just passed out on the fucking beach. And two, my sister's friend got a DUI. So let me back up and tell you exactly how this happened. So, they start taking shots, whatever the case, people are drinking, it's whatever, right? Then they go onto the beach, okay? And I guess one of my friends took a little shots too many, okay? So he is out on the beach, like I said, sloshed, sauced out of his mind, okay? And they see flashing lights. The cops are coming, okay? Not a good sign, all right? So they all, like the horrible friends that they are, run away and leave this one extremely sauced member of our friend group behind, okay? Actually, I think one of our friends did stay with him. Oh, yeah, one of our friends did stay with him, okay? So the cops, he can't run. Okay, I don't know if he just didn't fucking see or he's an idiot. I mean, in his state, I don't blame him, right? I don't think he really was coherent, okay? So he's just there, okay? They all leave, run away, and the cops come up to this one guy and they're like, "Yo, like, what's going on?" He's like, "Oh," like from what I've been told, he was not speaking coherent sentences, okay? He was just like literally making noises at them. So the cops were like, "Okay." Like the cops were actually really chill, okay? They were like, "Yo, like, we need to get you out of here." So they take him to kind of like the general area. It's not like a hotel, but it's like a resort type area. So they take him to the kind of like the general like area, like the lobby area, I guess. Okay, I wasn't there. Um, and then at this point, my friends kind of start like, coming to that spot to check up on him, whatever, see what's going on, right? So from my understanding, he kind of, I guess they forced him to throw up. I don't exactly know what happened, but basically he was all right. He ended up being fine, okay? Even though he was sauced out of his mind. So our rented house is probably like 2 blocks away from this general like resort area, okay? And he is in no state to be walking back, right? And he's a big guy. We're not going to be able to like carry him, even though it is 2 blocks, okay? So we have to go there. Sorry, I say we, my friends and my sister and her friend had to drive over there, pick him up, and then drive him back. 2 blocks, minute drive, tops, probably less, okay? One problem, they're all sauced, and they don't want to tell my dad, who is sober, obviously, about this because they don't want to get in trouble, right? Because he doesn't know. He's just asleep during all this, okay? So basically, my sister's friend, okay, who, 21, wasn't like she was underage, nothing like that, but is under the influence, decides to get in her car and just say, "You know what? I'm just going to drive the 2 blocks, pick him up. It's not going to be a big deal, and just let me just drive him back, okay? They're never going to know." Not the best idea, considering that this wasn't the only cop in the area. At this point, there was a lot of cops surrounding the resort for some reason, okay? Like, it wasn't just these cops that were helping my friend. So she drives over there. They get him in the car. Everything's going fine. She's about to drive away. And then another cop stops her, "Hey, ma'am, have you been drinking? Whatever." No, I haven't. "Okay, yes, I have." "Okay, how many? Whatever." "Oh, like, it was only 1. Okay, it was 3. Okay, it was 3. Okay." She's just backpedaling. Ultimate backpedaling. All right. And so she's like, "Get out the car. Do a couple tests, whatever." And she gets arrested for drunk driving, which is like, at this point, I think she had maybe drove like 5 feet. They weren't feeling very forgiving that night. I think we lucked out with my friend with the cops being chill to my friend earlier, and they just didn't take any chances with this one, okay? So she gets arrested. And at the same exact time, one of my other friends had just woken my dad up, I guess out of their own judgment. Should have done that a little sooner, but whatever. So he literally walks there, okay? And he's walking up to the resort right as she's getting arrested. So he sees this, okay? And boom, she gets handcuffed and taken to jail. So she spends the night in jail, okay? Crazy. And again, I cannot believe that I missed this, bro. I was in the fucking hospital while all this happened. Ugh, damn it. Yeah, that really just minus my aura that I was kind of not really a main character during that event, right? I was very much sidelined, very much on injury reserve during this whole time. So we bail her out. Of course, the next morning, my dad and my sister go to pick up my sister's friend, and, they come back. Everything's fine. She eventually would work it out in court. I think that's all fine, whatever, right? And so I spend another day in the hospital before I make my grand return. And important to note, they did figure out what was wrong with me. I had C. diff. And if you don't know what C. diff is, it is fucking disgusting. And it is honestly embarrassing for me to be telling you it right now, to be completely honest. I'm not even gonna go into it. It just fucking disgusts me. And it disgusts me even more to think about it, okay? But all you need to know is that it is an infectious, like, disease, I guess, okay? Like, me touching stuff, people, like, it's like COVID, okay? I had to social distance. I was supposed to quarantine, but obviously I'm on vacation. I'm not gonna fucking quarantine, okay? You expect me to waste my vacation alone in my room? No, I'm not gonna do that. Fuck you, okay? Fuck the hospital, whatever. I'm gonna do my own thing. On my Miles Morales shit, okay? Of course, it wasn't like super serious, as long as I washed my hands, the doctor's like, all right, like, you might be able to get away with it. Like, we understand you're on vacation, so whatever. Just make sure to wash your hands a lot. So best believe I was fucking washing my hands a lot, okay? And yes, there is a South Park episode about C. diff, and yes, my friends did make sure to remind me, and yes, we did watch the episode first thing when I got back and told them about this. I make my return just in time for July 4th, the big party, okay? The climax, kind of the trip. Because we actually left on July 6th, so we were going to be there for 2 more days. And important to know, this girl that I had been messing with at the time was coming on July 4th to the beach. And to add to the craziness, 4 of our friends that were girls were also coming to stay at our house. That just added another layer of stress. We had a whole thing going on, right? So I'm a little upset, first of all, because this girl that obviously I'm messing with at the time, I can't do anything with her, okay? I have this disease, and first of all, I don't even want to admit it to her because that shit's like low-key embarrassing. I don't remember what I told her exactly. I don't remember if I told her I actually had C. diff, but I definitely told her, like, yeah, like, we have to quarantine. I have to quarantine. I have to kind of stay away from you, whatever the case. But it's just embarrassing, bro. Okay, it's just fucking embarrassing. So I'm a little disturbed by that. Okay, I'm not disturbed. I'm a little annoyed by that. Everybody comes, we're all having a fun time. I'm trying to keep my distance, whatever the case. I am not drinking. I'm not hitting the cart. I've learned my lesson. I'm not doing anything. So it was not the most fun time for me. I'm not saying you have to be sauced to have fun, but I'm just saying when everybody around you it's hard, okay? And I'm doing my best, though. I still had a good time, right? I still had a good time. So anyways, the night comes, it's back to it, right? We're back on the beach partying, and then we kind of get moved inside a little bit, and we're, kind of partying some more. There's like an upstairs, downstairs little portion, whatever the case, at the house we were at, okay? So everybody's going crazy, and I'm just kind of there. I'm just chilling, right? Because I can't do anything, okay? So I'm just kind of chilling. I'm talking to my girl, whatever. I'm talking to my friends, this and that. Eventually, I think I just made out with her, okay? I didn't really do anything too crazy, but I just made out with her a little bit. So, she never got infected or anything. She was good. I made sure to wash my hands, okay? We're good, all right? But I did get, a little something, okay? Even if it's whatever. Even if I didn't get the tap, okay? So anyways, I'm pretty fucking cool for that, whatever. And then, the night keeps going on. I kind of go to bed a little early because, like, everybody's still kind of doing their thing, but I'm like, I got really nothing left to do here. It's whatever. Let me just go to bed. So at this point, my friends, my sister's friend, everybody is kind of all in this one like room, just drinking, doing whatever, right? Important to know, one of my best friends at the time, one of the original 5 that always goes on the trip with me, and like this guy I'm specifically like very close with, right? I've been close with him. Like one of my best friends, okay, if not my best friend of all time, is in this room, okay? And some very pressing things, okay, would happen in this room that I wouldn't find out about until the night after July 4th, okay? So we're going to tell this from my perspective, all right? So I go to bed, all of that craziness happens up there, whatever the case, right? So it is technically our last day because we leave the day after this, right? It's July 5th right now. And for starters, I'm in a bad mood. Okay, I don't remember why exactly. I mean, it had been a pretty rough trip so far, so like excusably, okay, I was in a bad mood, but I don't remember what specifically, but I was just in a bad mood, all right? So, we just kind of chill the whole day. We don't really go crazy, nothing like that. And then at night, I'm kind of going on a walk with one of my friends and then my best friend, okay, who was in that room last night. And I like kind of start going on this like speech about like me like getting cheated on, and I hate to bring it up again, okay, but it's important. And I'm just like, yeah, like I kind of just respect people that like, just tell the truth, whatever, like holding back the truth is like never the right answer, whatever. And my best friend starts getting like really quiet, and I'm like, that's weird, like what's going on, right? And eventually he like just starts breaking down. He's like crying and shit, and I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, bro, like I've told you something. I'm like, oh fuck. And so this guy specifically, some quick context, he hadn't got his first kiss yet. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that would be important to the way that I reacted with what he's about to tell me. So he goes, I got with your sister last night. They just made out. It wasn't anything too crazy. But when he told me that, I was like, and I've told this story to a couple people, and a couple people are like, yeah, like, what's the problem with that? Like, it's just your sister, like, it's your older sister, like, it's whatever, like, she should be able to do what she wants. I'm like, and I mean, sure, I kind of understand it, like, whatever the case. But at the time, I was fucking pissed. So I had like the worst crash out of all time. Immediately he tells me that, I start running, not like menacingly walking, excuse me, back to the house. I fucking bang down my sister's door. At this point, all my friends, only the people that were in that room last night knew. So some of my friends didn't know, but at this point, one of my friends that was in the room had told all the other friends, so they were all aware. And they're all in the house. They see me come in. They're like, oh, fuck. I go to my sister's room. I start screaming at her, doing this and that. My other friend has to hold me back. Like, bro, it was bad. It was a bad crash out for me. I'm not going to lie. And I try to maintain my composure a lot of times, but this was not a good look. I'm not going to lie. And, some might say it was justifiable, it's whatever. But it was bad. And even if it was justifiable, I prefer to not, crash out in situations like that, whatever the situation might be. So anyways, I'm screaming at her, doing this and that. I start getting into it with another one of my friends. This friend had been in the room, and so I start getting mad at him for not telling me earlier. And that was completely unjustified, okay, even, like, at the time, right? Like, because his whole thing was, like, we needed to let the friend that made out with your sister tell you himself, like, it needed to come from him, whatever. And I was like, no, like, you should have told me. I start fucking getting in his face. We're about to fucking fight. My other friend has to hold me back, like, whatever. I, like, slapped his phone out of his hand. I think I, like, broke his phone, like, not, like, permanently, but there was, like, a huge crack across his phone because I fucking slapped that out of his hand. So I'm, like, this close to fighting this kid. And my other friend is holding me back, whatever the case. Eventually he kind of goes off and stays at the other house that our friends have been staying at, because there's, two groups. There's my house where my 5 friends have been staying, and then the other house where the rest of our friends have been staying. So my friend that got my sister and that friend that was in that room that I crashed out on, they all go to the other house to stay out for the night, okay? And so I kind of have to explain to my parents, but I don't want to, like, snitch on my sister, because, like, I kind of know that's just going to be a whole thing. Then my parents are going to get mad at her. It's going to be a whole thing, right? So I don't snitch on her. My parents like, yo, why is everybody going to stay at the house? Like, why are you yelling? I kind of have to just brush it off, even in the state that I'm in, right? And me telling this will not do it justice, like the crash out that I really had, but it was pretty bad, right? So whatever. I try to go to sleep. I'm listening to After You by Roberta Flack. Great song, okay? But I was in my feels. All right, whatever. And I cannot sleep for the life of me, okay? I start, like, just getting super dramatic in my head. And again, as some of y'all also might know, I also recently got cheated on before this. So in my head, I'm like, oh, like, nobody fucking likes me. And I'm, like, thinking all this, like, super mega dramatic shit, right? And I'm like, oh, no, like, I can never fucking trust anybody again. I'll womp womp, little bro. Like, okay. It was not that big of a deal at the time, but that was what I was genuinely thinking in my head, right? I cannot sleep. I go out to the beach. It was kind of aesthetic. I'm not gonna lie. It was pretty aesthetic. I go out to the beach. It's, like, the dead of night. Nobody's out there. The wind's blowing in my face, whatever. I'm listening to the yall, Anderson .Paak. Great album. And on this dramatic kind of tirade that I'm on, I call the girl that I was messing with at the time. And quick context on her, we aren't dating, okay? We weren't dating, but we were in an exclusive, like, we both said it was exclusive type relationship, right? And that was mainly because she was leaving for college, okay? And it was that summer. And also because it was the summer and, like, whatever, right? But we were exclusive. And I really liked her. I think I know now that I really liked her way more than, like, she was kind of messing with me, whatever the case, right? So on this whole dramatic tirade that I'm on, I call her and I'm like, we have to end this. Like, I can't trust you anymore. Granted, she had done nothing wrong. This was simply just me being hella dramatic. And this girl, quick context about her, I think I've said that phrase like 1,000 times. I'm gonna say it a couple more times after this, excuse me. But she was super chill, just chill about everything. This girl, I don't think anything ever fucking fazed this girl, okay? So I tell her this, I'm like, yo, we have to stop, we have to end, like, we're over. I'm really playing it up, okay? And she's like, okay. she's like, that's fine, like, yeah, you're right, like, whatever, I'm going for college, like, that probably makes sense. I'm like, and that caught me off guard because I was rage baiting. I was just rage baiting the shit out of her. I was expecting her to be like, no, we can't do that. Like, no, I really like you. That didn't fucking happen. So her, like, giving me the exact opposite response I was hoping for kind of made me realize, like, wait, I'm being a fucking idiot, okay? And was that kind of mean of her to say? Yeah, okay? Like, you could have at least pretended to care, all right? But her saying that kind of made me snap out of my, like, delusion. And I was like, wait, I am being an idiot. And then I had to embarrassingly walk back my statement and be like, no, I'm just, and then I explained everything that happened to her that night, and why I was feeling like that, whatever. And then we kind of talked a little bit. This is superfluous vocab word, information, but we kind of just talked about our relationship, whatever, and worked some things out. So that was kind of sweet, kind of cute, whatever, right? So the next morning, I drive home with all my friends, minus my friend that got my sister. He drove home with the other group of friends, okay? And, I'm like, I don't really talk to him for a little bit, whatever, but we eventually do patch things up. I have like a really hard time with being mad at people. And honestly, I shouldn't have been that mad at him because it's at the end of the day, it's not even that big of a deal, okay? It's fine. All right, whatever. We got through it. He's still my best friend. But yeah, getting arrested, going to the hospital, somebody fucking almost dying from alcohol poisoning. Maybe that's a little extreme, but whatever. My friend getting with my sister, me getting C. diff. Okay, this was one of the fucking craziest weeks of my, like, literally the most like horrible shit packed into 1 week. Okay, but even despite all that, it was still really fucking fun. Okay, it was really fun. And like at the end of the day, if you could take one thing away from this, sorry, two things. Okay, two things away from this. Is that one, even when bad shit happens to you, you got a story out of it. Like, look at this. I'm turning this horrible thing that happened to me into a good fucking story, okay? And two, sometimes, even when bad things are happening to you, like, just be grateful that something is happening to you. Because, like, would you rather have life be boring or would you rather have, like, crazy shit happen to you? Sure, it's not fun in the moment, but, like, looking back, that is memorable. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to remember that for better or for worse for the rest of my life. And I honestly would have it no other way. I would not trade that experience for anything in the world, okay? Even if it wasn't fun or beneficial to me in any way. I hope y'all enjoyed. You know I love y'all so much. Again, do you rock with the necklace, okay? Let me know if you rock with it. Because I kind of fuck with it a little bit. A lot of it, okay? I'm not at the stage where I can, like, wear it outside the house yet. I'm still a little too scared, okay? I'm not a big chain guy. I have, like, the other chain you might have saw in some videos, but, like, this, I don't know. We'll see. I love y'all so much. Good night.